And I heard that the governor is actually sending private planes over to Chicago. Come on now, like you know how much a PJ cost? This is kind of crazy. So what happened was Mayor Brandon Johnson said he's going to start fining the bus companies for bringing these migrants in. So you know what the mayor did? I'm sorry, the governor, give him some respect. He said, "No problem. I'll send some airplanes over. I'm gonna send some airplanes so that way you don't even have to look out for the buses."
Sensational.
That man said,
"This is business, not personal, Sonny."
Business, man. Business. Governor Abbott is on business. He is standing on business. So let's get to it, man. I'll get to my intro in a second. All right. So let's go right here.
Johnson's office confirmed to us that for the first time, Texas officials chartered a private plane, sending about 100 migrants from El Paso, Texas, to O'Hare last night. That plane arrived around.
So they went from a bus load to a plane load. Governor Abbott is playing science and chess out here.
7:15 p.m. yesterday. Take a look at this video. It's from our sister station in Dallas. It shows those migrants boarding that private plane in El Paso that soon took off and came to O'Hare. Now, the move came at the direction of Texas Governor Greg Abbott. His office tells our sister station in Dallas that, quote, because Mayor Johnson is failing to live up to his city's welcoming city ordinance by targeting migrant buses from Texas, we are expanding our operation to include flights to Chicago. This comes after the mayor announced Monday that he would be implementing harsher penalties for bus drivers who do not follow proper guidelines when arriving in Chicago. On Monday, Mayor Johnson blasted Governor Abbott for his handling of the situation. All right.
So let's hear what he got to say about this, man. I gotta say this, man. Like, so he's sending plane loads over to Chicago, man. Like, can you imagine? You know what I'm saying? Like, you think you ahead of the game and you think you about to stop this, and then somebody comes with something you haven't even thought about. Like, how did you even plan to put these migrants on planes and ship them over here? Man, that's crazy. So let's see what Mayor Brandon Johnson had to say about Governor Abbott out there in Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas.
They're just dropping all people anywhere. Do you understand how raggedy and how evil that is? You're just gonna put people on a bus and just take them somewhere and drop them off in the middle of the night?
Bro, he just called him Raggedy. Hold on, I wouldn't expect Brandon Johnson to say this. Hold on, let's go back one more time. You know, Brandon Johnson is one of those, like, well-educated black folks. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they say certain things, it just, like, they don't sound right. It sounds funny to hear him say raggedy. You know what I'm saying? It sounds really funny to hear him say raggedy, you're dropping them off. Like, it's kind of funny to hear him say that. So let's run that back again.
They're just dropping all people anywhere. Do you understand how raggedy and how evil that is? You're just gonna put people on a bus and just take them somewhere and drop them off in the middle of the night? And then
and you're just going to take them and find shelter for them and build tents for them, and then take all your taxpayers' money and waste it on migrants. So because you call yourself the sanctuary city, so where are they going to go? They're going to go to you. So the flip side is you're making shelter for these people. You're allowing them to come to your city. So he's shipping them right to you. You say you want them, here you go. Take them. Don't complain about it. But it is very funny to hear Brandon Johnson call him raggedy. I think Brandon Johnson, I think he's starting to feel like the pressure as far as being the mayor of that city. I think he's really, really starting to get fed up. I think the migrant crisis is breaking him, to be honest with you. And I'm not trying to like see him fail and nothing like that. But I think the migrant crisis is breaking him. And it's probably so stressful for this man. And it's not stopping. And there's no plan of stopping. Joe Biden is not helping him. He's been reaching out to Joe Biden. He's went down to D.C. He's went to the border, I believe. I for sure know he went to D.C. to talk to Biden about the migrant crisis, and he's gotten no help. So he's done. Brandon Johnson is done. He's calling Mayor Abbott Raggedy. I can't wait to see what other things he gonna say about him as the time goes on.
You want to hold us accountable for something that's happened down at the border? It's
You want
sickening.
The mayor's spokesperson says their office is working to find shelter space for all 296 migrants currently staying at O'Hare. Meanwhile, tonight, in just a couple hours, the Pilsen community will come together to remember 5-year-old Jean Carlos Martinez Rivero. He was living at the shelter on Halstead when officials say he suffered a medical emergency Sunday. He was rushed to the Children's Hospital here in Chicago, but died there. Now, his autopsy is still pending, but we have learned that others at that shelter were taken to the hospital Monday with high fevers. City officials say those cases are not related to the little boy's death, but the entire situation has sparked concern and raised questions over whether the migrants living at these shelters are getting enough access to health care.
They're not.
Yeah, so tragic and very concerning to say the least. And Casey, we've seen buses send shuttles of migrants to the city before, but is this the first time that we're seeing a plane carrying migrants and having them be dropped off so casually?
Yes, it is.
You know, we know that there have been planes before, but we've heard that those are being paid for by organizations and nonprofits. The city confirms to us that this is the first time Texas Governor Greg Abbott has chartered a private plane, sending more than 100 migrants here to Chicago.
Bro.
And Casey, obviously.
And the only reason why I'm laughing is because can you just imagine the chess move? Like thinking that you about to, you got him under control, and all of a sudden this man is sending even more migrants in a more quicker fashion. But these migrants were already they were already sleeping in the airport, sleeping in police stations. They were already doing these things before he took these people in, right? So, I mean, I don't want to hear that, man. I think that, this is Chicago's problem. Chicago wants to embrace it. As far as, Mayor Eric Adams, as far as Brandon Johnson. So, I understand that he's upset, but the governor also is trying to get rid of him, and he can't stop them because Joe Biden says he's not going to build the border anymore, and they're going to continue to keep coming over. And then you have cities that are saying, hey, I'm a sanctuary city. I want the migrants. We will take them. Well, if they're going to come in anyway, then go ahead and take them. And he's just shipping them straight to you. If you do not want to be a sanctuary city, I don't know how that goes politically, but figure out a way to not be a sanctuary city or allow these migrants in, and you won't get them. So instead of calling, Greg Abbott Raggedy, you know what I'm saying? You should check yourself. You should check your policies out there in Chicago so that you don't keep getting all these migrants. I'm just surprised that, my man Brandon Johnson is sticking up for himself. He said, I'm done with this. He said Greg Abbott is raggedy. And who knows what other things he done said about him. So I think he's reaching a breaking point. Maybe he's going to stop being so liberal. Maybe he'll start having a little bit of a backbone now instead of being so soft and so nice. But they do need to figure it out there in Chicago, because the thing is they're running into the residents' areas, right? They're going into elementaries. They're trying to sleep there. There's churches that are now trying to take in migrants. Like, they're starting to spread everywhere. And then there's stories of them wanting to leave because it's so cold. Now you're trying to build them tents. It's just a bunch of stuff going on there. And it's not meant, the infrastructure is not there for migrants to stay there illegally. You've got homeless people that are there. You have your own residents that can use that money that you have on other programs and things that can help them. So when it comes to this, Mayor Brandon Johnson, maybe you should look at your policies and change them. So that's what I'm going to say about Mayor Brandon Johnson. Looks like he's got beef with Greg Abbott, and Greg Abbott is up by 100 right now.
Sensational.
Greg Abbott is up by 100 right now. So Texas versus Chicago, Texas is up right now. Y'all got to figure it out, man. I know the residents aren't happy. I mean, they've had city council meetings. They're on the news telling them like they don't like this, but y'all voted this man in, unfortunately. But he's gonna have to change up. But he wants to continue being a sanctuary city. He continuously wants those migrants coming in. He wants to get them housing. He wants to get them work permits. He wants to get them tents. He wants everything for them. So then it gets to a point where you take him then. You take him. So that's that, man. I'm waiting to see what other thing that Greg, the governor of Texas, is going to do. Because I feel like this battle is not over. Oh, I don't think it's over one bit. And if he's sending private planes, not private jets, but private planes, man, he is on a whole nother level. And he's shipping them over faster than they can get there because by bus, we know it takes long, right? So that's it, man. That's Mayor Brandon Johnson. We're going to go ahead and get off that.
Sensational.
Let me find Brandon Johnson and get him on up out of there. Let's talk about Amazon.